Hey everybody, welcome back. So we're still in the foundations, and this is our first project. So this is pretty interesting. We're going to be laying the foundation for all of our projects, or all the projects. And this is a good start to it, and we're just going to do a little recipe thing, I think. It's time to put all the HTML knowledge you have been acquiring so far into practice. In this project, you're going to build a basic recipe website. This website will consist of main index page, which will have links to a few recipes. The website won't look very pretty by the time you're finished, not unless you're into brutalist web design. This is a wormhole, don't do it there. But it's important to keep in mind that this project is just to build your HTML chops, and we will revisit this project in the future to style it up with CSS. So setting up your project's GitHub repository, so it shows us how to set it up here. We want to organize all our projects into a portfolio and link them to GitHub so it can be seen by others. So I'm not going to use any of the previous repositories that we've created for the Odin project because I want to start with a fresh one. Then this one will be the final one that we can show people at the end of this whole project. So this is going to be laying the foundations for the whole Odin projects. So this is going to be an important one, and I'll probably reference it in the future. So what we're going to want to do is create a repository for this project on github.com. So to get that started, we're going to go to GitHub, and I'm just going to go / and then my username. And since I'm already logged in, that'll take me right there. Cool. And then once I have it here, I'm going to click on this little plus one here, and I'm called a new repository. And you probably don't have to select this because you might not have other owners, but I have had other organizations I've coded with, so I have to select that. Here, what we're going to call this is Odin projects. I'm just going to keep it that simple. And projects related to the Odin project. A series of tutorials. Cool. And we can make it public. I don't care about that. License, we're not going to really matter. So now we're going to create this repository and then move that repository onto your local machine inside the repos folder that you previously created in the Git Basics lesson. The command should look like git clone this one. Okay, so what did I do? I moved this repos here with git test. But did I want the git test? I didn't care about the git test. So I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new push an existing repository, import your code from another one. Okay, so here's how we're going to do this. Instead of that, I'm just going to do it my own way, and I'll just walk you through it. So I'm going to change directories onto the desktop, even though you'll notice I'm already there. I just wanted to show you that. And now if you list it out, you'll see we just have I only have two folders on my desktop, so it's pretty clean. And so now we're going to make a directory, and we're going to call it Odin projects. Cool. And now if I list that, you'll see it there. So now we can change directories into Odin projects, ls, and now we want to initialize a Git repository. So git init. Cool. And then what we do is just follow the instructions right here to push an existing repository from the command line. And so I'm just going to create a folder called readme.md. And then we're going to just say code period. So that's going to open up Visual Studio Code, and we can click here for the README, and this is just going to be called Odin projects. So this is a collection of Odin projects of work related to the Odin project. And so I'll save that, and now I should have a Git history. And so I can actually just start using the command line, pressing Command J here, and we can start using it here. So if I go list here, you see I've got the README, so I can say git status, and we've got one thing to commit. So I'll go git commit -m initialize git repo. Okay, so if this commit is implemented, it will initialize git repo. So that passes that thing. Oh, what did I do? Oh, first off, I have to add. So I say git add readme, and now git commit well, I can just copy that from before. And now we have something to commit. We have an existing repository that we want to commit to this project. So we want to push an existing repository from the command line. So here we're going to add the remote branch, and we're going to set branch to main, and we're going to push. If we go get status now, we're on branch with nothing to commit, so now we want to push it to our main repository. So git push -u origin main. Cool. So now, because we had it all set up previously, if we come back here and refresh, we should see that we now have our README here. Cool. So our README's here, and you can see that it automatically goes to the README with GitHub projects. And so now what we can do is start our first one. And so the new repo for this project is going to be Odin recipes. And I'm going to actually suffix these with 00 because I want these to be in order from when we're creating them. So recipes. And now if I list, you can see that we've got an empty page there. And I'm also just going to add the thing touch. So in OO, I'm going to say, we're going to make a file called index.html. And yeah, so now that we have index.html created in here, we can just say add an h1 tag for now, just to open it up, and just say recipes for the Odin project. And then useful programmer. Cool. So now if we go get status, we can see that we have that our only thing to be committed. So we can say git add, and remember I press command save up here, and then I can just add everything, and I'm just to say git commit, and I'm going to add the message to it, which just says add starting index.html page. And so now I'm just going to say git push. Cool. So now if we refresh up here, we can see we have our Odin recipes here, and in here we have our index.html page. And so we've got this started. And so that's how I'm going to run this one. So git status. Now we're kind of on the main thing. Cool. So going back to here, we want to move that repository into your local machine inside repos folder that the command should look like this. Okay, so I just did this differently. I'm not following the instructions here exactly, but I think this is going to work out for me over the long run more. We can change directories into Odin recipes. So if we list them here, you see we do have Odin recipes. So now we can start following the instructions. So cd into Odin recipes, project directory that is now your local machine. Set up your readme.md file and write a brief introduction describing the current project is and what your skills you will have demonstrated once you have completed it. Cool. So let's go. Just going to make this a little bigger. Not that big. Okay. So let's see here. Well, now we created a README for the overall root directory here. But what we want to do now is add one here. So you could go new file and do README. But because we're trying to get good at the command line, we're going to say touch readme.md, and now that'll be here, and it's an empty file. So this will be recipe project, and here we'll say write a brief introduction describing the current project is a project that shows skills in HTML, writing clean HTML. As for example sake, we will be providing some recipes. Enjoy. Cool. Now we can save this. And again, if we list it out here, right now we're not in the root directory. So if we say git status, oh cool, you can do that. Okay, so git add, and I'm just going to add the README. And now if I go ls, you'll see that it's there. So git status, So we've staged the README to the commit. So now we say git commit. And in the message, we're going to say add recipe project README. Cool. And now we can just go git push. Okay. And this is good. Now we're getting to see maybe from the last video when we were talking about the importance of commit messages. Well, here we can look at them now. You see these, add recipe project README, add starting index HTML page, initialize git repo. So you can see we're trying to use these very specific git commit messages. And I think that this is really important because this is building a strong foundation for being good at this stuff. So if you are having trouble, all git commands need to be run from inside your project's folder. Okay, we already did that. Ensure you followed steps here, 2.3 to clone from GitHub. Okay, we already did that. Refer to the workflow and Git basic lessons. Nice. All good. So tips on when to commit. Don't forget everything we went over in the previous lesson about commit messages. When you're building your project, you will probably end up doing several git add, git commit cycles before being ready to push it up to GitHub with git push origin main. I don't use git push origin main all the time. I usually just use git push because it's set to do that automatically. So when writing code, it's considered best practice to commit early and often. Commit every time you have a meaningful change in your code. This will create a timeline for your progress and show that your finished code didn't appear out of nowhere. After you have entered git push origin main, switch over to your browser and open your repository on GitHub. You should now see all the files you've just pushed. Okay, that's enough Git for the moment. Time to actually build stuff. And so what they mean by that is that you can just come here and you can actually just see the code that you've pushed up here. So for us, it's just wrapped up in this Odin project here. And so as we go forward, I'm just going to have a list of every project in numeric order based on 00 Odin projects recipe. This is number 1, number 2 will be 01, and we'll keep moving through like that. So, for the assignment. The first thing that it wants us to do, I'm just checking to see we're in the Odin projects directory. Within the Odin recipes directory, we want to create an index, cd Odin recipes, ls. Oh, we've already got the index, so I can open index. Oh, yeah, it just opened up here. Fill in with the usual boilerplate HTML and add one called Odin recipes. So it looks like that's here. Odin recipes to the body. I'm going to save that, create a new directory with Odin recipes directory, and name it recipes. Okay, so that's for that. I'm going to come here. I'm going to list this out. README index HTML. Fill it out with the usual boilerplate HTML Odin recipes. Create a new directory within Odin recipes directory and name it recipes. So I'm going to go make dir recipes. And you'll see that makes a new recipes directory. Create a new HTML file within the recipes directory and name it after the recipe it will contain. For example, lasagna. We can go, we're going to have changed directories into there. And then now that we're in the recipes file, we're going to say touch lasagna. We're going to touch, oh, I spelled that wrong. Lasagna. Okay, so now in our recipes, we've got a handful of different types of foods. And you can use the recipe to find your favorite dish, or if you need some inspiration, find a recipe to use here. Let's go check that out. Here we go. This is a bright program that I don't want to deal with. So for this, I'm just going to be like cheese, tomato sauce, and beef. And then for pasta, we're just going to go into parentheses, pasta
and sauce. For sushi, raw fish and rice. For tacos, food in Mexico. This doesn't matter, I'm hoping. I'm not sure exactly what this is going to need, but there we go. We're not going to actually make recipes for now. For now, just include an H1 heading with the recipe's name as its contents. Okay, so it said to do H1. I did a P, so we can go find all, and we can just go H1. And replace these guys. That'll do that one. Same thing here. Sushi. Or we can go like this. H1. Save it. Pasta. H1. Save it. Lasagna. H1. Save it. Okay, cool. Now we've completed that, the H1. Back in the index HTML file, add a link to the recipe page you just created. Under Odin recipes, write out the link text so it's like this. All right, so the text of the link should again be the recipe name. Okay, so it wants us to go to the main index HTML, and then we're going to have recipes. H1, Odin, come on. And here we're gonna go lasagna, but I want to make it here as well, so oops, I'm gonna just go, we can go and then I'm just gonna, in order to do this quickly, I'm gonna just go, we've got lasagna 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then instead of lasagna, I'm just changing this to pasta. And instead of lasagna, I'm gonna make this tacos. And instead of lasagna, I am going to have pasta, taco, sushi. And I'll put that one above. All right, so now we've got this. What happens if we go open index? No, we're in the recipes. We want to change directories here. Open index. Here we go, lasagna, pasta, and sushi. So yeah, we're gonna update this stuff as it goes. The text of the link should be, again, to the name. Oh, so yeah, here, if we click here, does it go? There we go, cheese, tomato sauce, and beef. Pasta, pasta sauce. Sushi, sushi. Tacos. So we've made a website. Step 3, iteration, page content. Your recipe page should have the following content: an image of the finished dish under the H1 heading that you added either earlier. You can find images of the dish on Google or recipe sites. We added here. Under the image, it should have the appropriate size description, heading followed by a paragraph or two describing its recipe. Under the description, add an ingredients heading followed by an unordered list with the ingredients sample. Finally, under the ingredients list, add a steps heading followed by an ordered list of steps needed to make the dish. Iteration 5, add more recipes. Oh, okay, so we're already doing that. Add 2 more recipes with identical page structures to the recipes you've already created. Don't forget to link to the new recipes on the page. Also consider putting the links in an unordered list so they aren't all on one line. All right, so I'm just going to work through this one at a time. So, iteration 3. Your recipes page should have the following content: an image of the finished dish under the H1 heading that you added earlier. So, in order to do that, we are going to an image of the finished dish under each heading list. Okay. I'm going to make all of these in P brackets. So, no, they wanted these as unordered lists. So I'm going to make these list elements. And then I'm just going to press Option and Tab, and it's going to take me to the back. And we can make these guys list elements. And then we need to make this an, what did they say? An ordered list. So yeah, unordered list. There There we go. And then we'll just put all these guys in this unordered list. So now if I go back to this recipe, it's an unordered list. H1 heading. Okay, under each H1 heading that you added earlier. So that means in the lasagna, we want to do that. So we're going to actually make this lasagna. And then we're going to add an image with a source equal to a string. And that string, we're just going to find on Google. We're going to just look for lasagna. Images. Okay, and now we can right click here and say copy link, copy image address. There we go. So that gets us a source. So we can just put that in here. And then if we go to our index and we go to lasagna, it shows here. Cool. So this is a little hack. It would probably be better to get the images injected into my site, and I could do that. Maybe I'll show later how to do that. But for now, this is working for us. So yeah, the lasagna is there. We linked to the earlier. You can find images there. Under the image, it should have an appropriate size description heading followed by a paragraph or two describing the recipe. So this is where I could be like, go to ChatGPT and just go, can you give me a short description or a short paragraph describing lasagna? Describing. There we go. Thanks, ChatGPT. Okay, and so this is here. We can make it a P element, and we save that there. Refresh here. Nice. Now this is formatted poorly. Altered with rich, savory ingredients. All right, so each layer is where it kind of changes its stuff. Each layer. And then here we can make, we're going to end this P element and we're going to start a new one. I really don't like how it fills that in. Okay, so now if we save that, we're going to put some paragraphs in here. Okay, under the H1, you can add that right here. Under the image, it should have appropriately sized description heading, followed by a paragraph or two describing the recipe. Should have a appropriate sized description heading. So appropriate sized means that we are going to have to add an H2 element here, and we're going to size description. Save this, go back over here. There we go. Under the description, add an ingredients heading followed by an unordered list. Okay, so we're going to go H2 and we're going to call this one ingredients. And here we're going to say an unordered list, so UL. And then we're going to go list element. And we can copy this list element a bunch of times. And then we'll go back to ChatGPT. Can you list 3 of the ingredients in lasagna? This thing is so crazy how easy things are nowadays. Pasta sheets, tomato sauce, and cheese. Okay, so now if we go to our lasagna thing, we've got our ingredients as well. And let's see. Under the description, add ingredients. Finally, add the ingredient list. Add a steps heading followed by an ordered list of steps. Can you give us an ordered list of steps for creating lasagna? Okay. Can you provide it in HTML? Oh my God, this is just Jolie's does it for us, doesn't it? So cool. We've got an ordered list now, an unordered list. It's giving us all this information that we don't especially need. So what we're going to do is just get the ordered lists which we wanted. Ingredients, and then we want to go steps. Another H21 steps, and then we'll put our unordered list. Now if we save that and we come back over here, oh, we've got pretty good stuff. You can copy and paste this HTML code into H&M file editor and browser. Right. All right. Finally, ordered steps. Iteration 4. Add more recipes. Add 2 more recipes with identical pages. This is awesome, though. We know what we can do. Can you provide or HTML for unordered steps for sushi and tacos too? Watch, I bet it's just gonna do it. Now we're gonna get rid of pasta just because we don't want to do silly work. I just kind of want to show how to do this. But we've got sushi and pasta here. So what I'm gonna do is, instead of rebuilding the whole thing, I'm just gonna copy this and I'm gonna paste it into, so here we need an image URL. Well, that's crazy. This thing is so long. Get rid of that. We're going to have our description, but we're going to make this into 2 paragraphs, so we'll get rid of the content here and here. And then ingredients we're going to keep, steps we're going to keep, but we'll get rid of the ingredients. And then in steps, we're just going to have 1 list item because it provides us with that. But this is just a template that we can use, so that now we've got lasagna. Oh no, I was editing the wrong one. Anyways, now I'm just going to undo all the things I just did, all the deleting I just did. But I am going to, but I saved the edited one, so hopefully lasagna is still okay. We're going to save that, and then we'll check that the lasagna thing's still there. Okay, so now I can go to pasta. I'm going to have to delete that again because I made a mistake and put it in there, and we don't need that. So, and then we'll do sushi, and then we'll do tacos. And so yeah, sushi and tacos. So right now, if we were to go there, we're just, oh cool, pasta's not there. Oh, and what happens with that? We broke the link. There is no pasta, so that's a broken link. So we want to get rid of this as well. Save that, boom. Lasagna, sushi, pasta. Lasagna, and then sushi and pasta. Sorry, tacos. So now we can go back to Odin project, or this thing. We can get our unordered list for steps for making sushi. Did I get both of them? No, I want to get the unordered list. No, I want it to be unordered list. Yeah. So I got to get rid of these. I think that's an example of either user error or ChatGPT gave me some weird stuff. But no, this is for steps for making sushi. Can you give me 3 ingredients for sushi? What is it? Fish, rice, and seaweed. And can you give me a short description for sushi? But here we've got tacos, so we can move over to tacos while we've got the ordered lists here. I'm gonna paste it in here, but then I'll get this back to making it an ordered list. So now if we go to tacos, they've made the list here. And so yeah, prepare your choice of taco meat. Sushi, we've got the steps for sushi there. So now we just need a description and an image for them both. Can you give me a 2-paragraph description of sushi in HTML as well as tacos in HTML. See how well it handles even that terrible one. Sushi, a culinary delight. Okay, there we go. So this is our sushi paragraphs. Now, if you don't have ChatGPT or you don't want to use it for some reason, you can always just type all this stuff out. But that's just not something I'm into this right afternoon. So, save the sushi, description, ingredients, boom, boom, boom. Tacos, description, ingredients. So yeah, taco filling, taco shells, and hot sauce. Nice. So now if we save that and we go back here, we have our website. Yeah, so we can do lasagna. What are we missing? Of course, sushi and tacos. We need images. Tacos. And we go to images. Here we can just copy image address, put that in our source for tacos, and then for sushi, we'll do the same thing. Sushi. And here we will copy image address, put this into our source, save it, and then come back here. And if we refresh, lasagna's got an image, sushi's got an image, tacos have an image, and it's a full page. So that's kind of interesting. Your links won't be flashy, but for now they'll be able to focus on building them. Viewing your project on the web. So if you want to show your work or projects to others or submit a solution below, you will need to publish your site so that others can access it from the web rather than just on your local machine. So this is just on the local machine. We want to be able to see this on the web. GitHub allows you to publish directly to your GitHub repository. Doing this will allow you to access your project from your GitHub username, GitHub repo. A GitHub paid account is required to publish a private repository. There are a couple of ways to go about doing this. You make sure that the HTML file on your project is called HTML, index.html. If it is not, you will need to rename it. Yeah, so that this is already there. It's index.html. Go to the settings, click pages on the page. Change branch and change the branch from none to main and click save. It may take a few minutes. Okay, so let's do that. So where are we? We need to get to GitHub. And then find the recipes. And we're going to go to our repositories. Odin projects. Here we go. And then we're going to click here, and then we're going to go to settings. And we're going to go to pages. And we're going to deploy from a branch. GitHub Actions wants us to set it up so that it deploys in something else. In GitHub Actions, it's like a CI/CD pipeline. That's kind of hard to describe at this point. Your GitHub page is currently being served on the main branch. But we want to change this to, so because it's being served on the main branch, that's not going to work. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to commit this first off. So git status, so this has our index and our recipe pages. So if we go git add, we do the period, and then we go git status. We've got green for all of them. So git add. Oh wait, we already that. So we can go git commit, add index and recipes. Git status. Git push. All right, and so now I want to configure pages to work like this. So deploy from a branch. Instead of being on main, we want this to be on docs. Deploy from a branch. What happens if we do GitHub Actions? Static HTML. Oh, this wants us to do it. Don't want to do that. I just want to do that. It's designed to host your personal stuff, custom domain. Wow. So it's making us actually do a static site. So commit changes. Okay, get status. Git pull. So now we should pull this Jenkins file down. Man, this is always getting more and more difficult. So now we got to go ls-la. That'll wait, where did it? Git flood workflows. So let's go back to the wait. Okay, here we go, GitHub. And it was added to GitHub/workflows. So if we change directories into GitHub, we'll see workflows. Workflows has a static YAML. This static YAML file is going to basically, what's it doing? Names it and does all that. I don't want to look at all that right now. I thought that maybe it would just work like this. So let's see, where's pages? Your site was last deployed in GitHub Pages environment by the deploy static pages to workflow. Okay, so now it's here. Now, I'm not so worried about this not working because it deployed a second ago. So I think this this could refresh in a little bit. So we're just going to keep moving on for now. Yeah. Geez, so all of that was just like GitHub Actions, that CI/CD pipeline stuff. That's they want you to have tests and this kind of thing. It makes it more difficult than it used to be. So that's interesting. We just went through it. It may take a few minutes, but your project should be accessible over the web from this thing, obviously situating your own details in the link. If your project does not publish after an hour, ensure that you have called HTML file in the root of your repository and all the settings have set correctly. So we're going to have to check for that in a bit. If there are no entities, then go back to the settings, change the branch from main branch to none, and then click Save. Okay, when you look at the project submissions below, you might be asking, why do they look so good? Should my project be like that? Here's the answer. The main reason they look that good is that they are not done by beginners. They are submitted by people who had experience in programming or have completed the Odin project before and are coming back to make better websites. Your project should not look like that. Focus on that. So, yeah, where were we looking at other people's projects? Oh, down here. I don't even see any. Cool. So we want to make sure this actually works. So, Odin projects. You know what's probably the problem is it's not, I'm doing this for the index page. And so in order for us to, okay, so I'm going to go back. And then, so on this page, right now we don't have an index page. So we want to make an index page for our overall projects repository. So we can say touch index.html, and then we'll open index.html. So this is going to be, right now this is obviously blank because we just created it. So this is going to be, we're going to call this one useful programmer. Odin projects. Save that, come over here, refresh, awesome. And so now we're just going to start an unordered list, and within that we're going to call this one with an A We're going to call this one, and then for the recipes, in order for us to get there, we're going to need href is equal to, and then here we're going to say Odin recipes slash index.html. So that's what we're going to link to. So we're going to say recipes, call it Odin recipes, and see how that works out. So once we refresh here, if we click the Odin recipes, then we get Odin recipes, lasagna, sushi, and tacos. Good stuff. So now what we need to do is publish this. So basically, we're going to have this page, which is going to serve all our other projects. So instead of saying that, I want this to be, we're going to say H2. Yeah. Here are a list. No, we're going to make this a paragraph entry. Projects. Okay, and so now we have our own project. So git status, git add, git commit -m, add main index HTML with list of projects. Git push. Nice. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to be able to refresh here, and it's still not there. And that's not surprising. But it was deployed 5 minutes ago, so I think that we can wait. I just pushed that last bit up just a moment ago, so we're going to have to wait on that. And so I'm just going to wait for a while right now, and we're going to come back and see if this actually worked. Okay, so now if we go back to the GitHub pages and click this, it shows, okay, look at that. We're there. What was the error message is now there. If we click the Odin recipes, and then we click the lasagna, nice. So we basically made a website. So that's that. Yeah, I guess the big thing would be we should probably write a like an aref for back. So this is, we just need a link for back. So if you refresh the page, oh, now we need to do it locally. Oh, that's not right. What's the local? Here we go. Oh, we haven't even opened it there. So what we've got to do is come back to our main and go open index.html. Oops. Boom. All right, so now, oh, this is in the wrong one. We want to get this, instead of that being there, we want to go to the index here and then just write a back. So if they go Odin recipes, and then, so back to main project page. Because if you don't do this, then your, oh geez. How do you do that? Save it like that? No, so we don't want to make it to the local host. We want to make it just back. So ChatGPT, how can I? Wait a second. I'm pretty sure. How can I link to an index page that is a directory above? Okay. And so, okay, got it. I should have known this. Man, it's been a while. I've been doing DevOps stuff, so index.html. So we save that. Come back to our local instance. This is our published one. If I refresh here and we go to, it says back to our main page, and then it takes us back here. And we've got lasagna. Okay, so this is locally. We're going to push this again. And to do that, git status, git add, git commit, add a back button, and git push. Okay, so now our published repository will have that. So yeah, if we go here and we go to Odin recipes, and it hasn't shown up yet, but I'm confident it will. So yeah, now we know our projects URL. If we come over to here, you'll see it's in my GitHub under Odin projects, and we'll submit our solution here. Live preview, optional. Oh, the GitHub repository. So we want to do, this is the GitHub live preview, and then the repository will be found here. GitHub repository, and we'll add that here. Public to other learners. Yeah, we'll make it public. Recipe solution. So now if we live preview that, it shows us that project. And let's see if it's showed up yet. Nope, the back button's still not there. You can view code, I guess. Neat. I mean, this is obviously the most boring little project, but it's great to get something up. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you in the next lesson.